The end of August is always a little bittersweet for me. It marks the end of summer, the end of those long days of seemingly endless sunlight, that spirit of play and adventure. I am not one of those people who is secretly counting down the days to fall. But that being said, for all the sparkle and delight of summer, there is something about September and the whispers of fall that does tap into a different part of myself that I am excited to lean into. I am half a creature of the sun, but the other half of me is a total homebody. After a full season of saying yes to joy, of really leaning into my community, of exploring and getting out there, I'm really looking forward in these next few months to just being in my space, nesting, taking care of my home, being in my routines, reflecting on all the things I've been working on, and just getting into that cozy state of mind. So come plan with me for September. I want to start off by doing kind of a memory capture to make sure that I'm capturing all of the beautiful things I've done this summer and everything I loved from this summer. Then I'll show you my goal setting process for September and of course my monthly dashboard setup in Notion. This video is sponsored by MSBLUE Jewelry, more on them in a bit. Now let's get into this monthly reset. I am a little sniffly and scratchy today, so pardon my voice. I actually have been a little sick the past week. So I always start out my monthly reset routine with a little bit of a monthly reflection, and since it is the end of summer, I kind of want to do a whole summer retro. What I'm thinking would be really meaningful is to create kind of a memory board of all of my favorite things and moments and memories from the summer. So usually I always do this kind of things from this month or everything I loved this month in my monthly reflections process in Notion. Usually I'll just write those things down, so it's kind of like the things that I watched that month, my favorite TV shows, movies, the music I was listening to, products I was using, hobbies and practices that I was really into, and just kind of the general big moments, memories, things that I was focusing on for that month. I'll just jot all of those things down. And this really just helps me remember the general texture and events of that month. So if I look back on that month, I can kind of recall what I was doing and what I was into. So we're gonna do that, but in a bit of a more visual format. Okay, so this is Canva. If you're not familiar, it's basically just like a DIY drag and drop graphic design tool. So you can see I've already kind of started off here a little bit of a design of what this memory board will look like. So these are just a few images I've taken from things I've done over the summer, and I'm gonna add in more photos from my summer memories and experiences, but first I wanna add in my summer favorites. Let's start off with things I've watched. First one that comes to mind is definitely The Bachelorette Jen Tran's season. She is the first Asian American bachelorette that the Bachelor franchise has ever had. Bachelor, The Bachelorette, they've never had an Asian American lead, which is really just wild to think about, but having her just be the main character and having all these boys worship her has been so great to watch. Next up is Bridgerton. Bridgerton season 3. I love Bridgerton. It is just such a delight. It does what it does so well, and I loved seeing Penelope as the star of this season. The storyline, I guess the idea is supposed to be that Penelope is unattractive, but it literally doesn't make any sense because she's the most beautiful person you've ever seen in your life, the actress. So it's the story is supposed to be ooh, she'll never find a husband, but she's just hot. So it doesn't make any sense watching it. Ooh, on the same train of Bridgerton, I absolutely adored Queen Charlotte, which is a Bridgerton sister story. This came out a while ago, but I just watched it. It's a very short little series. I think it's only 6 episodes long, so me and my partner just blazed through it, but I almost feel like it's better than the main Bridgerton seasons because it's every episode, because it's only 6 episodes, it kind of feels like its own art piece in a way. The storytelling is so good, and it's specifically the visual way the story is told, just such a delight to watch. And the story is really good too. It's pretty complex. There's a lot of, I would say, moral complexity to the storyline. It has to do with mental health and mental illness and racism and identity and womanhood and marriage. So definitely intense stuff, and I wouldn't say that it nails everything perfectly, but it definitely sparked a lot of conversation between me and my partner. So in that sense, I really would recommend it a lot. Okay, and then the last one, Inuyasha, which is this very old anime that I grew up watching, but me and my partner, in general, this summer and the last few months, we've been really watching a lot of nostalgic shows, and I feel like there's like a lot of television that I really loved growing up, specifically a lot of anime and animated television, and I've just been really craving that like familiar, like lovable TV show. When I watch TV, I just want to be relaxed and I want to be like not like activated or stressed or having to like think really hard. So nostalgic television has been really nice because it just helps me just get into a really cozy, comfortable atmosphere. So Inuyasha is like one of those shows. Okay, so for music, for me, it has been a Chappell Roan, I think I'm saying her name right, summer. I have been just listening to I think like all of us, just listening to so much of Chappell Roan. I literally just looked up Chappell Roan aesthetic on Pinterest, and this is what is coming up. Wow, there's a lot of really beautiful artwork here. I'm just kind of loving it. Oh my gosh. Wow, oh my God, people on the internet are so creative. This is so beautiful. Okay, I think I'm just gonna grab maybe something a little bit more vibey, maybe like this. Just gonna copy image and then go back to Canva and paste that in. Ooh, it looks so good. Are any others? Oh my God, this artwork is kind of driving me up a wall. Gosh, wow, people have some beautiful artwork. The hot to go. That's so cute! Okay, maybe I'll gotta take that one. It's so cute. It's like a little smaller, like as a little sticker. Come on, that's so cute. Okay, let's move on to jewelry. I feel like this has been the summer that I turned into a jewelry girly. I have really been working on growing my jewelry collection, and I have just been loving these rings from MSBLUE Jewelry, who is the sponsor of this portion of the video. One thing I've been thinking about a lot lately is how do I tap into my brightest energy, my most effervescent and confident version of myself? I feel like I could make a whole video about this, but for me, one of the things that just immediately shifts me into my most comfortable me version of myself is putting on an outfit that I really love and that feels like it really represents me and who I am. Some people call this dopamine dressing. So this is when you dress specifically to make yourself feel good and in a way that, you know, just lights you up and makes you happy. So lately I have really been having a lot of fun coming up with a lot of like really fun and creative looks and just getting dressed up in my personal life. And I feel like chunky or like maximalist jewelry has been a really fun way to express a very specific part of my personality. I've been in sort of like a magical, girly fairy core era. I don't know if you can tell. I don't know, I just love adding that little like feminine, ethereal touch to my looks these days. It just makes me, I don't know, it makes me so happy, and it just feels like it makes me feel like so me. So when MSBLUE reached out and asked if they could send me some pieces, I picked these two out, and oh my gosh. I mean, this Alexandrite ring, oh my gosh. This is their 2-carat vintage cut Alexandrite engagement ring with amethyst details. I love the kind of like witchy elven vibes this thing has. I feel like I'm in like a magical fantasy novel wearing this thing. It's so beautiful. The color of the stone also kind of changes in different lighting. Sometimes it looks like kind of like a deep purple, and then sometimes it's more of like a bluish green, like a pale blue green. God, it's so pretty. And then this one here is their raw moonstone and white sapphire ring. I love crystals, and I just love the look of this kind of raw, natural, untreated moonstone. And honestly, I've just been really loving adding these rings to my everyday looks, even when I'm just like working from home. Sometimes I just slip these things on because they're just so beautiful, and it literally just gives me like a dopamine rush to put them on and see them on my fingers. So in general, MSBLUE specializes in fine jewelry with high quality alternatives to natural diamonds, all at an affordable price. All of MSBLUE's jewelry is also handmade, and they do personalized customizations and even totally custom jewelry where you can send in like sketches and inspo pics, and you can kind of design your own jewelry from the center stone to the metal type, and it just sounds like a really fun process to try out. They also donate a portion of each sale to water access and forest restoration initiatives, and their engagement jewelry features lab-grown diamonds and moissanite, which many consider to be a more environmentally sustainable alternative to mined diamonds. Ooh, how cute! So I'll leave the link to these two pieces down below if you're interested in picking them up for yourself. Thank you again to MSBLUE Jewelry for sponsoring this portion of the video. Okay, keeping on the witchy train, another favorite of mine from this summer has been tarot. I have really been getting back into my own personal tarot practice, doing daily and weekly card pulls. And here, hold on. This is my tarot deck. So it's by this Vietnamese queer artist Trungles. And dude, the artwork on these cards is actually just so gorgeous. It actually kind of blows my mind a little bit. Here, let me just get a couple of them to like show you. Oh my gosh. Look at how freaking beautiful this artwork is. Makes me so happy. You see? Oh my god. Oh wow. Look at this Empress card. Jesus Christ. It is so gorgeous. Oh my gosh. Yeah, there are so many. This is the moon. Oh my god. The artwork is just next level. Talk about a dopamine rush. I mean, come on. So I love tarot as a tool for just bringing to light your own internal stories and tapping into your intuition. I don't think of the cards as predictive or prescriptive or anything like that. I simply see them as a conduit for bringing to the surface what's really going on within. And it's like the art is just so beautiful and so, wow, it's just like, it's so evocative. Like each card really like evokes something, and I just find that tarot ends up being this really beautiful visualization or like translation of your current thoughts and feelings. Anyways, I am just really enjoying tarot as a practice lately, and I just love this Star Spinner tarot deck, so I will leave a link to this down below too if you're interested in it. So I love this kind of summer favorites process because it just really helps me remember all the things that I've been loving. And last thing I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna go ahead and add in some photos, like actual photos from my life and things that I've done this summer. Okay, and here we are. Ooh, I love how this looks. So I just added in a bunch of photos of, you know, my favorite memories, things that I've done, and I'm sure I could even add more to this, but I think this is a good place to land for now. I really love this. It actually like really warms my heart to see. Yeah, this is everything that I loved and all of my favorite things and moments from the summer. I'm gonna keep this in my experience tracker in Notion, so I'll always have this beautiful visual reminder of all the things that I was getting up to this summer. I love doing this really thoughtful reflection process, and also having this beautiful visual reminder is just, it's just so nice. I'm gonna really look back on this and be so appreciative that I took the, 10 minutes right now to put this together, because this is gonna really help me remember this summer. If you're enjoying this video so far, do me a favor and hit the like button. That really helps me out a lot. And if you're into planning and intentional life design, make sure you're subscribed to this channel, because I'm putting up videos exactly like this one every single month. Let's move on to goal setting for the month of September. By the way, it's starting to get a little dark. Sorry if the lighting changes. So here are a few of the things that I came up with during my monthly reflection process that I know I want to focus on in the coming weeks, as well as the coming months, really. Number one is tending to the loose ends. I have a lot of, I guess I would call it like life admin stuff that I just haven't really been able to prioritize. Just things related to like health insurance, taxes, mail I need to send out. It's kind of like clutter in the back of my mind. I'm sure you know what I mean. It's like tasks that need to get done, but there's not like a deadline, so you're never ever really compelled to like, okay, like do it. It's always just kind of like on your list, and you always are kind of like moving it back on your list. And the thing with that is, over time, that does start to become just, it's literally like clutter or like cobwebs in the back of my brain. I feel like anytime that I'm trying to relax, something will float into my consciousness of like, oh my goodness, have I marked all of my expenses so I can pay my estimated taxes on time? I don't know that I've done that. Did I make sure that I talked to my financial advisor about XYZ? And it's like all of these little to-do list things will like float into my brain. In this last 4 months of the year, I would really like to be very focused on trying to tend to those loose ends and try to kind of tie up any of the ones I'm able to tie up, so that way these things are not carrying with me month to month and stressing me out like in the background. Likewise, another kind of larger intention for this end of the year time is tending to my home. It's in the same vein. I do feel like I've been so focused on many things in the last several months between indulgent summer joy and all the things that I've been building and working on with my YouTube channel and my other work projects. And I would say tending to my home has not been a big priority. There are definitely a couple of key areas in my house that I would love to do a deep clean of, and I know I can't get it done in a single month, but I do want this to be something that I'm really focusing on in these coming months. The other kind of large calling for me for specifically September is I really want to make space to be slow. One thing I've noticed is that it feels like I've slipped into that pattern where I am so busy that I am racing from deadline to deadline. It's like I have to get this task done in an hour because as soon as I'm done with that, I need to start on the next thing. And as soon as I'm done with that, I need to start on the next thing. And I am back to back having to go from thing to thing. And when my days are scheduled in like that, where it's like, I have to get this done by this hour, otherwise like it's all gonna fall apart. I know whenever I'm in that state, I am overcommitted. I have too many things on my plate if I'm having to rush from thing to thing. Like if I'm in that state, then I am not doing my best work, and most importantly, I'm not really tending to myself because it's just stressful to be in that constant state of urgency and rush and hecticness. It puts our systems into this kind of like high alert state of like, oh my gosh, I'm panicking if I don't get this done on time. I really want to move toward a place of time abundance, time wealth. I want to make space to just do things slowly if I want to do them slowly. I want to make space to rest. I want to make space to, if I'm in the middle of my work day and I just am like, ugh, I'm not feeling this, I want to do something else. I want to just be able to do something else and not be stressed out that like, oh no, if I don't get this done right now, it's, something is wrong. But I am moving slowly. I am able to really be peaceful within my workflow. I'm able to be calm and grounded and kind of take my time and do things as I feel like doing them. I can follow my muse, follow my inspiration. I can be really creative. And so I really believe in this idea of having a slower day-to-day pace. And there's a lot of things that can contribute to helping to create more of that space to be slow, but definitely one of the biggest ones is reducing your commitments. And I know for me, I really need to look at all of the things that I've committed to and see where I can scale back. What that is going to look like in September is, okay, let's stop pitching new work to new clients. Let's stop saying yes every time somebody knocks on my door. Let's maybe not set a whole bunch of goals or habits for me to try to work on so that I feel like I'm like overwhelmed and having so many things that I need to do. Otherwise, I'm gonna be disappointed at the end of the month. Basically, what I'm trying to do is make sure I'm winding down this busy season. All right, guys, so this is my August monthly dashboard. It is exactly the same as my July monthly dashboard. You can see I have my dream menu, and then down here I have my weekly dashboard view. And then down here I have this little resourcing section. So if you want to see how I made this exact dashboard, go check out my July Plan With Me video. I go step by step and show you how I designed this. If you're new to my Plan With Me videos, by the way, I design a new monthly dashboard setup in Notion every single month. It just depends on what I'm working on, what my mood is, what types of sections I think are gonna really help me versus what types of sections are just gonna end up being clutter on my dashboard. And that way my planning space, the space that I'm looking at to manage my tasks and know what I need to do every single day, is as relevant as possible as far as what I currently need. So the basic concept behind this dream menu is I really wanted to have a goal system that was a little bit more flexible and that would allow me to, at the start of every week, kind of decide what I want to work on, but still have kind of these larger big picture dreams or intentions that I am directing my energy toward, but I'm not setting like this strict map of what I need to work on every single week. Instead, what I'm doing at the start of every week is basically I'm just checking in with myself and just seeing what do I feel like working on this week. And so this dream menu ends up being something that I just peruse every single week. So for example, this is all of my kind of dreams for quarter 3, which is technically September is still part of quarter 3. But so for example, Indulgent Summer Joy, what I would do is I would look through each of these dreams or kind of focus areas for the quarter and look through all of the different little kind of subtasks that fall under that dream. And I just look at them and decide, okay, am I feeling like working on any of these tasks? Any of the tasks that I am feeling inspired to work on, I mark them as inspired at the beginning of the week. And then down here in my weekly planning space, those items that I've marked as something I'm inspired to do appear right here. And those kind of end up being my focus or goals for that week. I really love the dream menu system because it just ends up, one, it's so cute, look at it, but two, it ends up being a much more flexible way of making progress towards my goals. And as you can see, some of my goals I've done really good with, my income streams and summer joy. I feel like those are the two areas that I was just the most compelled to spend my time and energy on. I think I'm gonna use basically the same general layout for my monthly September dashboard, but I'm going to kind of refresh it a little bit. I want to refresh out the goals that are in here. I want to refresh the images and the color palette and the kind of feel of the dashboard. I also think I might consolidate some of these goals into those new goals that I was talking about that I am thinking about for September and the rest of the year. For example, something that I think I should be able to do is take these tasks and just reassign them to the new goals that I'm thinking about working on. So I was talking about wanting to make space for being slow. These 3 items kind of go very nicely into that larger theme. So, you know, these, I can just take them off of the Indulgent Summer Joy category and place them into the Make Space for Slowness category. So let's get right into the September monthly dashboard setup. Okay, so here we are on my monthly dashboards page, and this is just houses all of my monthly dashboards that I make every single month. And so usually what I do is I have a little button here that automatically generates a new template for a monthly dashboard, and this is just a template I made. It's just the bare bones of the things that I usually include in my monthly dashboard. However, in this case, because I do want to use the same general format of the August, July monthly dashboard, I'm actually just going to duplicate that, and what I'll do is then go into that new copy and start customizing it for September. So let's get into it. Okay, I'm starting to get excited, I think, about September. I mean, I feel like I want to go for something that's a little bit of like brown tones, brown colors, because that feels very, you know, feels very September, right? Yeah, let me go ahead and do that. Give me a second. Even just doing that is already making it feel so September, but definitely need to swap out all of these images to really kind of get into that cozier, homebodier kind of vibe. Typically where I get all my images, like I said, is on Pinterest. I already went through my Pinterest board. I pulled a lot of images that are kind of just like these like cozy homescapes. Go easy on yourself. That's also very much a vibe that I have. Like I said, I'm trying to just slow down, chill out a little bit this September and the coming months. Tend to your garden. Obviously this feels very relevant to this idea of like tending to the loose ends. Lots of homescapes. I pulled a lot of coffee imagery. I feel like that's very September, and it's also very like homey, right? Books, ooh, washing machines, like this stuff all to me feels very homey. Kind of hope one of these images is large enough to be the banner along the top. I'm gonna copy the image address, come back here and change the cover, but okay, that doesn't look so bad. It's like, it is like a little pixelated, but I kind of feel like it's really kind of capturing the vibe. Let's stick with that for now. Let's kind of see where it takes us. I feel like this might end up being something like a coffee cup or something. Or maybe it's like more like cozy, like a bear. Bear could be cute. Bear is kind of cute. I do kind of like it a little better than the coffee cup, but maybe we can still incorporate the coffee cup somewhere else. Like, ooh, okay, that's kind of cute. So right here, this is typically where I have my day-to-day task lists. I have a week view. That's just how I like to do my daily task management. So I have a little button here that I created a long time ago, and when I click it, it just creates a new little weekly spread for me. So this just is where I write my to-do list items. At the start of every week, I plot out my whole week, and that way at the start of every day, I kind of already know what I have to do that day. This is the carryover of my habits from August. As you can see, I didn't fill in a single thing. I literally did not do any of the habits because I'm kind of focusing on tending to the home. I feel like doing my kind of weekly chores, I feel like that's a good one to kind of move to the top. Reading, good God, I am not gonna be reading. That sounded so fatalistic, but it's just the truth. I just know for a fact I will not be able to read in the month of September. Movement, oof, it's kind of asking a lot from me. I'll keep it there just so if I do end up doing, some stretching or some Pilates, I can mark it down, but I don't really think, to be honest, in the month of September, I just don't think it's gonna be the kind of month where I'll be really able to focus on any habits at all, because building a new habit or working on a new habit, that is something that just takes a lot of energy and headspace, and I just know with everything that I'm gonna have going on in September, I just don't wanna even try to start nurturing a new habit or continuing nurturing a habit that is not yet intuitive to me. So I'm not going to overly be pressed about making sure I get each of these things done every single day or every single week, because I just think realistically I'm not going to, so I'm not even gonna try to set that as a goal for myself. So this calendar, this is just a little widget in the app called Widget Box, and you can see you can just kind of customize these little colors. Maybe before I color code this, let's pick out the images that I think I'm gonna be using, because that way I can match the colors to the images. I feel like this go easy on myself one is kind of speaking to me, maybe as opposed to don't postpone joy. I mean, I'm still not gonna be postponing joy, hopefully, much, but I am definitely in a much more like, let's just relax. Let's just relax this month. Let's just chill. Let's stay home if we need to stay home. Let's go easy on ourselves. I kind of am loving the books, and this could be really cute for the resourcing section. Yeah, although I feel like a square image looks really good. Yeah, I feel like it would be cuter if it was a square image. Ooh, this. Okay, because we're in like a tend to your home, tend to your loose ends kind of vibe. So I feel like the washing machines kind of are speaking to that energy. I know it seems like very unsexy to have like washing machine imagery in your planner. It's a little it's a little unsexy, I'm not gonna lie, but I do feel like it kind of feels appropriate. And then maybe this one goes down here. Ooh, yes, I kind of see that. I feel like that looks pretty good. And then what if I change this? Maybe, it's kind of nice, right? Sort of? I think so. So for this resourcing section over here, I just have some affirmations for myself. These are just, sometimes there's some words that just really resonate with you and that help you tap into a certain headspace. They're just like little reminders that I like to have. These are so personal. Every time I try to write one of these on camera, it's like so nerve-wracking because, I don't know, it's really personal. So what about something like, it's not sexy sounding. I feel like I need to sexify this a little bit, but something like this I think is like the spirit of what I want to be reminding myself of in September, because you know me, I care so much about my goals. I care so much about, the work that I do, the people that I serve, and so I sometimes just focus on that, and it's like my main thing that I'm doing, and I forget that I do need to rest, and I'll do my best work when I'm rested, and also I deserve to rest. I literally say this all the time on camera, so it's a little embarrassing to admit that I also have to remind myself of that, but it's true. It's so easy to forget this, and so maybe if anyone has a a nice affirmation-y way of saying this, or a good way to maybe phrase this idea. If you have any thoughts, yeah, leave it down below, and then maybe if I see it, I can pick one of them and put it in as my affirmation for the month of September. On the right side, this is my little recharge zone. These are activities that when I do them, it just gives me like a little jolt of energy. Like I was talking about this earlier, right? Of like, how do I tap into my best energy, my brightest energy? And these are some things that definitely really help, right? Okay, we have switched out some images in this. I actually really like how this looks. It's very simple. I think I'm ready to change out the colors of this widget because I got a sense of what we're going for. I feel like this is exactly the right color palette. Once I change it here in widget box, I can actually just hit refresh here and it should reload the colors. Yeah, okay, that looks pretty good. Okay, great, I'm happy. This one too is whatever, let's make it all coffee cups. This is cute. Hey, we're really getting somewhere. Okay, so this top area is the area that needs to change. And actually this little top image is now not looking like quite the same vibe as the images down here. So I might actually swap that out, let's see. I'm so hesitant to get rid of this image because I love it and it's exactly the vibe of the dream menu. The dream menu is really based on the idea of I don't need to set this really rigid plan for myself to make sure I hit my goals, because if the goals matter to me, if these things that I'm saying that I want to do, if I actually want to do them, I'll do them. Like I trust myself. I trust that if I make it easy for myself to do the things that matter to me, if they really matter, I will do them. That's kind of the concept behind the dream menu. So this, trust the seeds you are planting, I do really like this a lot. However, tend to your garden, watch it grow. I mean, this is kind of in the same spirit, a little bit of a different message. Okay, the pink is a little bright, but let's hear me out. Let's see. Okay, I feel like the next thing we need to do is refresh these goals right here. So in order for me to update this dream menu, the first thing that I actually need to do is I'm gonna go back to my general life hub of my Notion page and go to my goals hub. So this is the back end of that dream menu. Again, the July Plan With Me video walks through the exact way that I designed this whole thing from start to finish. But basically there is two databases that create that dream menu. It is this goals database, and then down here a goal tasks database. And I'm sorry for having to blur out a lot of things here on this page. Each of those goals is here listed under goals. It has a time frame, and then it has the tasks that are related to that goal, or it's really like a dream or focus area. And then this is a progress bar that just tallies up how many of these tasks are checked off. This will seem very complicated if you didn't watch the video of showing how I set this up, but what I need to just do here is add in those new goals that I mentioned for September and kind of like the end of the year. Here under time frame, I am gonna just go ahead and create a new time frame. I'm just gonna call it EOY, end of year 2024. So now there's a new time frame that I can kind of mark goals as. Okay, let's go ahead and add in the new goals. Okay, I dropped in those 3 items and I added in just like a couple of tasks that go into each of these. Some of this stuff is gonna be personal, so I'm gonna add more detailed items in later, but that looks pretty good to me. Okay, let's go back to the September dashboard so you can see the rest of these are showing up here. What I'm gonna do is some of these I am gonna keep. So for example, Slow Cozy Infrastructure is infrastructure for this business's channel. Let's see, what I think I'm gonna do is a couple of these. So for example, go thrift shopping. So a beautiful thing about these databases is I can assign multiple goals to each task. So go thrift shopping, that falls under Indulgent Summer Joy, but I can also actually just assign this to make space to be slow. So that way I can kind of get Indulgent Summer Joy off of this view. All of these, I think what I'm gonna do is I am gonna add it to make space. So now I can make this goal not here for the September dashboard, which, you know, I feel like that it's time to get rid of this indulgent summer joy piece, but I will still have these items represented on something in my September goals. I'm gonna do something similar for each of the others. I'm gonna go through and just basically reassign out any tasks that could be reassigned out to other goals. Let me go ahead and do that. Okay, so the final thing that I need to do is just decide which one of these goals I'm keeping. So I think slow cozy infrastructure will keep it for end of year. I think identity work, I think I want to keep this for end of year. I would say for nurturing my income streams, yes, for the end of the year, keep. And ditto. Actually, for the wedding closeout, I think I won't keep it. In indulgent summer joy, I will not keep it. So then what I'll do is I'll come here to the filter and I will filter it by time frame, and now I will only include the end of year goals. And there we have it. So now it has gotten rid of the goals that I'm no longer trying to focus on anymore, and it's only kept the ones that are marked for end of year. I'm actually going to relabel this too into end of year. So I'm gonna go ahead and reorganize these two, maybe just roughly in terms of what matters most to me. Something like this is great. I'm gonna go ahead and add in a cover image for each of these out of all of those beautiful images that we had looked at before. This is very loose ends looking, doesn't it? It looks like I'm about to get some work done. Let me do that. Tend to the loose ends. Yeah. Copy image address. Paste. Wait, I really like this. So I will say that the blue is kind of throwing me off of these two images. Does this image need to be different to make it work? What about just this image? I mean, this does look a lot more cohesive, but does this look too, I feel like this top image is now not doing it, right? It's like a little loud. I almost feel like I need something like much simpler. Let's go to Pinterest and let's ask for brown aesthetic, like banner. Ooh, guys, wow. Oh my gosh, okay, definitely something here is gonna work. Stars are pretty cute. All right, guys, this is the one that I think I like the best, and it doesn't really make a ton of sense for what we're going for the vibe, but the color palette makes a lot of sense. All right, guys, I think that's it. I think that's our September dashboard, our monthly dashboard reset, whatever, in Notion. I think it looks pretty cute. It's interesting. It's like the exact same template, obviously, as the July-August one, but the vibe is so different with this color palette, with just these different images. It really does feel like a pretty good representation of what I'm trying to go for September and for the coming months. Let me know down below what you think of this September monthly dashboard. Are you into the color palette, the vibe, the mood? Because I'm kind of liking it. I think it's pretty endearing. I think it's really gonna help me get into that kind of cozy state of mind, that kind of go easy on yourself state of mind that I'm trying to be in September and really for the full end of the year. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that subscribe button because I do plan with me videos like this one every single month and you don't want to miss one. I also just want to take a moment to thank you guys for being here. Not only did you guys help me hit my 1,000 subscriber goal, you guys literally catapulted me over the 1K mark, and I think by the time this video goes live, I'll be at 2K followers. Oh my gosh, or subscribers. Oh my goodness. I am just beyond floored and so grateful for each and every one of you. Let me know down below what kinds of videos you would be interested in seeing. I have definitely been taking notes of all of your requests. I see them all, so keep leaving the things you want to see down below in the comments, and just know that I am hard at work putting that all together for y'all. In the meantime, I'll leave another fun video of mine somewhere over here for you to check out next, and I will see you over there. Bye!